Hey fans, viewers, and listeners, welcome to another exciting episode of Fight Insight Podcast. I'm your co-host for today, Raine Cruz, also known as Ringside Raine, ring announcer for Up Next Fighting. And with me as always is Timmy B. Today, we will speak with the BKFC owner and founder, David Feldman. Plus, we will talk about UFC doing fight nights outside of the Apex. And will you fight your friend? I know I will fight Tim. All that and more. So, Tim, hit it!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Insight Podcast.
Our guest today is one of the most successful men in all of combat sports. He has grown his organization into a world leader. And with the recent addition of Conor McGregor as part owner, they're taking it to the moon, baby. As founder and owner of BKFC, he has produced homegrown stars, marquee events, and he's made fans across the globe. I always tell you guys how much I love BKFC. Raine, it is time to knuckle up, toe the line, bring this man in.
Please welcome BKFC owner and founder, David Feldman.
Good job.
Oh.
Mr. David Feldman, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
You are the most busy man on the planet, so I really appreciate you spending the time. Before we get things started, I do want to say thank you so much for creating BKFC, and secondly, for letting my wife and I get media passes for the podcast. We went to, for the audio listeners, I am stripping down, David. Oh, nice. BKFC London.
Did you? Wow.
I was there, baby. It was
an epic event, man.
Oh my goodness. BKFC, I'll tell you, David, let me just explain to you. I took my wife there. I said, we're there on our semi-honeymoon. And I said, hey, there's a BKFC event in London. Can we go? And she said, oh my God. Anytime she watches it, she turns away, can't stand all the blood and gore, right?
She loved it. She liked it in person.
Dude, we get there. She tells me the whole trip there, I might just be on my phone. I might not watch. From the very first walkout, her eyes are glued to it. You put on a better show than anything I have ever been to, David. Like UFC, Bellator, any of the big names, your show is the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do. What was your favorite moment of London?
Well, this was the one in Crystal Palace. It was headlined by Connor Tierney, who was a former guest of the podcast.
All right.
Fans, man.
I thought you went to the first one. My favorite moment was when they did Sweet Caroline and everybody was singing it. It was insane, man. It was sick. I was like, holy crap, this is awesome.
No, dude, the crowd was insane. The fans were going wild. It was epic there. I do want to ask you though, I obviously watched your interview on the MMA Hour. And so I heard you say some things. When we have guests on the podcast, we normally end it with a question that I ask everybody, but I want to ask it to you first because of one of the things you said on that. So it's a question that we ask all our guests. It's a question that my mom used to ask me almost every day of my life growing up. David Feldman, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you?
I mean, it's actually a double-sided question because if you're talking about like the growth and where the company is at this point, I'm at a 10. If you're talking about, all the pressure and everything that's going on, we're probably at about a 7, but we're getting there because nobody knows what you go through to do something like this. Like this doesn't happen overnight. You don't snap your finger. You don't sleep. You go beg for money. You have to convince people of your dream. You have to do different things because, look, if we were just running if we did 12 events a year and we just wanted to be successful, we could make a lot of money on 12 events a year and that would be it. We'd be a profitable company. Nobody would talk about us. Nobody would care about it. It just wouldn't matter. So we're not happy with that. We want to grow. We want to be global. We want to be really one of the biggest combat sports on the planet. And to do that, you need to grow, and then you need to raise capital, and you need to get money in the door. Someone that believes in you and believes that what you're going to do in the next 5 years. And we found a very good group of guys, especially from Triller, that believe in our dream, and you know, they're backing it now. And I think that in the next 30 to 45 days are very pivotal, pivotal, pivotal. I can't believe I can't even say it. Pivotal for us, very pivotal. That we're getting all this money in, and we're doing all these big relationships. We just got Conor McGregor on board, as you know, and I think that it should really like just catapult our trajectory in the next like 30 in the next 60 to 90 days. And I think we're going to put ourselves in a great position to, you know, because I know I'm going to answer some of your questions without even you asking them yet, and I'm sorry.
No,
But in
perfect.
2 to 3 years, I see us as there's nobody else out there that can compete with us, obviously, except for the UFC. They're a juggernaut. They're their own beast, and we're not trying to compete with them. We're just trying to compete with ourselves.
No, it's perfect. And yeah, you did answer some of my questions already, which is perfect. But here's the thing though, David, I heard you say that, you know, you're not like top 1, 2. I think you are number 2. Like, you know, and no disrespect, of course, because like you said, UFC is a huge beast. But I mean, you have really positioned yourself so well. Like I said in the intro, you've created homegrown stars, right? Jad Masson Wong, Juggernaut, Taylor Starling, Britton Hart, David Diaz. On the last event, David Diaz, dude, that guy is crazy. You've created such stars, such homegrown people that like bleed BKFC. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You should be so proud of yourself. You're the only organization doing that. You can have other MMA organizations, but the people move from place to place, you know, and we always say like, oh, well, we want to see that guy in UFC. BKFC, I want to see him in BKFC. That's the only place to go.
100%. I agree, and thank you for that. And listen, I kind of agree with you in a way, but I'm not the one that I don't need to talk about where we are, you know, amongst everybody. It doesn't matter. Where's BKFC amongst what we're doing? And I think it's out of control, the growth. It's unbelievable. So that's what I just want to focus on. And where are we going next? Doesn't really mean who we're going to surpass, or if someone would rather invest in us, or we're bigger than that guy. It doesn't really matter. I mean, the investment kind of matters, but everything else doesn't really matter. It's all gonna, you know, it's all gonna come out in the wash, right?
Right.
So everything's gonna come out in the wash, and at the end of the day, you know, everybody's gonna see great products, and they're gonna see products that are touting themselves to be great that aren't the greatest.
No, definitely. Can you explain to me what is it that you guys have done that is so fantastic? Because frankly, we see PFL faltering. Like in my opinion, they're doing really badly. Bellator obviously fell off. Even ONE FC, they're talking about the potential that all their investors are backing out now after year of record losses. But BKFC seems to be this strong, stalwart company that's just grinding and moving forward, driving its own lane. Why are you so successful when these other organizations can't seem to figure it out?
I think there's a lot of reasons, but it's basically one word, and it's relatability.
Mm.
It's that our fighters are relatable to people. Our sport is the most relatable, really probably sport in the world. Because let me ask you a question. You might know it now because you follow MMA, and I say this a lot. So if you go around a room and you ask people, do you know what this chokehold is, or this knee bar, or do you know what this is? No, they don't. If you ask anybody, any age, any creed, any color, if you ask them what a bare knuckle punch is, they all know it. They've through one, they've either been hit with one, they've watched someone do it, they've watched someone get hit with one, they can relate to it, they can understand. And it's so raw and pure that they can almost picture themselves, hey, I wonder if I could have done this, you know, if I would have started training when I was younger. And that allows them to really back this sport. And because they can get behind it because they understand it, right? They really get it, they understand it, and they can get behind it. Look, I think the big, you know, red flag of bad perception that we had, it's not gone yet, but it's 90% gone. I mean, at the beginning, nobody, oh God, no way. I said, listen, just watch it. You watch it, game over. You like it. Look what you told me with your wife, right? I mean, right there.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And the crazy thing about women is we started out, for the first like year and a half, we were 4% women viewers. We're at 28% women viewers now. 28%.
Yeah.
Crazy, but I mean, that shows you how relatable it is. It's relatable to anybody.
I will say what also doesn't hurt is that some of your fighters are very good looking. Like you have very good looking women. But David, there was one part where my wife was watching. She's going to kill me. But we were sitting, you gave us very nice seats for the media. And then we're watching all the fights and these big burly guys, like dudes that are bare knuckle fighters, And then all of a sudden I'm looking at the ring. I'm watching Mr. Worldwide do his thing. And I hear my wife go, "Oh my." And the next guy that walks down the ring was just jacked, look great. It was Chaz Wasserman from South Africa. And you get these guys that are just total pictures of BKFC, but they're not what you expect. You know what I mean? They're not all just grizzly dudes. Some of these guys are true athletes just competing in the rawest sport possible.
100%, man. No, I agree with that 100%. I mean, that doesn't hurt at all. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And let me say too, very underrated. And like I said, I'm commentating for an organization now in Atlantic Canada, Fight League Atlantic. But boy, oh boy, your commentary team, I have to say, is probably the best in any pro organization. Chris Lytle and oh my goodness, Sean Wheelock. Those voices are now iconic and synonymous with BKFC. How happy are you with those two guys?
And it's great. I mean, look, if you don't know Sean Wheelock, he's a consummate professional. Mm-hmm. He actually was one of the guys really responsible for getting me legal for my first event. So I'll never forget Sean Wheelock ever. He's really done some things about opening up some other states, and just the professionalism of him preparing for these fights is second to none. And Chris Lytle, the great thing about him is he did boxing, he did MMA, and he did bare knuckle. So he fought in all three sports. So if you talk about a knowledgeable guy that can describe what it's like to be in there and the differences of being in there from other sports, there's nobody else in the world better than him. So I think those two together are such a great package. And I think we have a tremendous commentary team as well. Now we're going to add somebody to it. We also have Cyrus Fees doing the interviews and stuff like that and hosting it. And he's just really, really phenomenal. But we're going to add somebody else to it just to get some crowd interviews and just get the fans involved a little more as well. I think that's very important for our growth. Again, relatability, right? We just want everybody to relate to this.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk, of course, about Conor McGregor. On the MMA Hour, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but you gave some fluff words. You said, "Oh, he's going to move the needle. He's going to what?" Raine and I have argued this ever since Conor McGregor stepped on that scene. What exactly can he do or will he do? He's been trying to promote fights. He's been trying to book people and encourage them to bare knuckle fight on Twitter or on X. What exactly can he do for the organization aside from just bring, eyes to the organization?
But I'm going to tell you, but what you just said in the latter part of that question was probably the most important. Eyes. We need need more eyeballs, and that's all we need. And who can do it better than Conor McGregor? Nobody. Can he? The thing is nobody can sell this product better than me. Nobody can. I can sell it because I love it. I'm passionate about it. But if I want to talk to this guy who's the president of, let's just say, just shoot it out there for an example, CBS, right? He's not going to answer my phone call. Conor McGregor calls, he's going to answer his phone call. And then it saves me a lot of time. He's influential. People want to talk to him. Now, even go one step further. If I'm telling you how exciting this sport is and how great it is and the growth, you're going to listen and you're going to get excited because I do excite people when I sell it. But if Conor McGregor, who is a legendary UFC, 2 or 3 time world champion, gets on there and say, "This is the best combat sport I've ever seen in the world. It's the best thing out there." They're going to listen to it more than they're going to listen to me, right? Because he's been there at the top of the top and everywhere in the world. And I think that's what really helps this thing. Just he's in the position where he doesn't have to wait for a return phone call, right? They answer. And I think there's just so many different things about when I said moving the needle, that a lot of different things he can touch that's going to move the needle. We didn't even talk about this, but imagine having some kind of unscripted series or a reality show or docuseries and Conor McGregor's there. They're going to want to watch it. Right. If I'm there, they're going to say, "Oh, that's pretty cool." If he's there, they're going to be like, "Holy crap, Conor McGregor's on there. Let's watch it." I know it. He knows it. And that's part of the reason why we brought him in.
Nice. No, that's an excellent explanation, and that brings it home to me a lot because it's those opening those doors
Sure.
that potentially might have taken you a little bit longer to open. He can just smash right through them for you.
100%.
That's incredible.
Yep.
Raine, anything you got for the man?
Yeah, so I read the article on rollingstone.com, and David, I commend you, man, for going through all the adversities in your life and being who you are right now. Do you sometimes stop, to smell the roses and kind of look back like, okay, you know what? I've been through a lot, but man, I made something out of that.
So it's hard because we're going so fast and there's still so many obstacles there. But personally, I do. I mean, I know I mentioned therapy in there in that article, and I'm most proud of that. I'm most proud that this tough guy here that boxed professionally and grew up in the life that he did could find a way to make himself better. And I think that was the most important part of this whole journey. And like, I'm a completely different person than I was 3 years ago. And I'm so happy about that. And that allows me to really keep driving and be a driving force behind this thing. Because if I didn't make the changes I needed to make, I probably wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't be able to be here today. But because of that, it made my marriage so much stronger and better. It made my, just my everyday existence so much better. And when I stop, every once in a while, I do this because my buddy told me to. Every once in a while, I Google my name, David Feldman, BKFC, and I look at all things, and then I go, wow, holy crap. We really built this. Like, this is us, Rolling Stone. Like, when they called me, I was like, what? I told my wife, I'm like, babe, Rolling Stone wants to do a piece on me. Like, holy crap, right? Like, every one of those things really, like, I mean, I take it in the heart, man. I mean, you have to work for everything that you get. You're not gifted anything. You can't take anything for granted, and I don't, man. I love it. I love every step that we're taking, and there's some very hard steps. And, sometimes we get knocked down and we just get back up and keep moving. But I do it for everybody, really, for me, but for the people that said, this would never be anything. There's no way you can make it. You can't make it. You can't. And I was like, okay, watch this. Right. And it's more, it literally works 80 hours, 90 hours a week for the same salary as they were making when they were supposed to work 40 hours a week. So it's for the guys that believed in me and had that no quit attitude. It's for all that. And I think we're going to, in like I said to you earlier, maybe 90, 120 days from now, be in a really great position to take care of everybody. And that means more to me than anything else that we're doing.
Yeah, that's incredible. David, you really need to be proud of yourself. You need to take those moments to pause and to look at yourself and to realize all the good things you've done, because it's not just for you. It's not just for the sport. It's for all the young fighters out there, all the people searching for that goal. We have so many amateur and young professional fighters on this show, and more they are saying, I'm looking at BKFC. I want to go to BKFC. They see the show you put on. They see everything that you're doing. It's incredible.
We're going to come back to Temecula on July 12th, and then we're going to go up north October, November, and put on an epic show there. Really, it could be one of our biggest shows we've ever done. Probably around the Sacramento, San Jose area. We're not sure exactly yet, but up in that area. Our experience with California was really second to none. It was unbelievable. It was unbelievable because I didn't think we would ever be sanctioned in California. I literally thought that was the last state that was going to sanction us, because of, again, perception of what they thought it was. And then when they learn what it really was and how we do our medicals and how we treat the fighters and how we, just do everything that we do, it was great. It was honestly one of my best experiences that I've had with the commission thus far.
Yeah, that's incredible. I know we're so excited to see everything you do. And of course, like, you had your first event in Canada, headlined by former guest of the podcast, Jad Masson Wong, put on an incredible show. And there was a guy on the Prospect series on that card, Robert Desharnais, who we had him on as the podcast because he's just some kid in Calgary punching trees, dreaming of being a bare knuckle fighter. Never in a million years did I mean, I hoped, but I never thought he would do it. And there he is on frickin' BKFC Prospect series and gets a knockout in the first round. David, you're making people's dreams come true, man. It is incredible. Congratulations to you. I want one more question I want to ask you. The TV deal is looking to come about. You're hoping for that. Shannon Knapp, the owner of Invicta, was on our podcast, and she talked about how important it is to have like a TV deal and like the kind of things that opens. Can you just explain to me why is that such a big deal? Because boy, do I love your BKFC app. I've been a subscriber the whole time. Why is the TV deal so huge?
And listen, we're going to keep the app. Everything won't be on a TV deal. If we get a TV deal, we'll probably do a series of like 12 events there. But what it does is you don't have to pay to be on most of them anyway. You're not paying to be on them. The app is great, but it's still in the box, right? This little box of people that love BKFC, but it's not like you turn on BKFC app and you might watch soccer, you might watch basketball, right? But you turn on this network that we're talking about, and there could be basketball, soccer on, and then you see us on. So we have the ability to have so many more crossover fans just coming in and bumping into it by accident, right? And then also sponsors and advertisers. We just have the addressable market on a TV is way bigger than it is on the app. It's just there's more people watching TV. So that allows the price tag on the sponsorships to go up.
I got it. Well, then, David, all the successes to you, man. I really appreciate your time coming on this podcast. Like I said, I've been a fan since day one of BKFC. We've been singing your praises and BKFC's praises on this podcast. 171 episodes we've done of the show now, including today's. And dude, to cap it off with you on here is incredible. Thank you so much for joining the podcast. Is there anything that you want to say to fans, viewers, and listeners of the podcast before we let you go?
No, I mean, just two things that I want to say just about anything is if you have a dream and you want to do something, don't quit. Don't let anybody tell you can't do it because they can't do it, because you can. And number two is go to the BKFC app. As you mentioned, it's got all the great interviews, all the great content, all the great fights, the library, everything you want to see at the BKFC app. So check that out and keep following us. And I really, really appreciate guys like you guys really taking the time to talk about us. You don't have to, and you do. And of course, I'm going to give you my time, and I'm glad that I was on here. You guys are two really nice people, and I really appreciate you guys having me on the show, and we can do it again soon.
Thank you so much, David. Now, I started off the podcast by taking off my shirt and having a BKFC. Take off your shirt and show the Fight in Sight shirt that's underneath. Go.
Have a good day, guys.
Have a good one, David. See you later. Bye-bye.
Oh my
Raine,
God, that's amazing.
Never in a million years did I think we would have David Feldman on this show. Never in a million years.
I know. It's crazy. It's like, that just happened. We just talked to him. That's amazing. I love seeing how happy he was. Like you could tell. You look on his face, like he was really happy just talking about BKFC, talking about, like the future of BKFC, because it's not just good for the company, it's good for, the combat sports fans and people who would, like he said, there might be fans who might cross over into combat sports, into BKFC. Right. Once this TV deal goes through, they could be watching basketball, soccer, and then, oops, oh my God, what is this? Oh, BKFC.
No,
and they'll get more fans.
See, but this is why it's a little bit different than what Shannon Knapp talked about when she was like, oh, but if we get a TV deal, that's huge. Because that doesn't work for MMA, though. Because again, she was like, oh, people might think it's the different organization, or they think it's UFC, right? And they just keep watching. But with BKFC, it's a totally different sport.
Mm-hmm.
Totally different experience. And like I said, my wife, for her to sit there and watch the whole event glued, not just because stupid Chaz Wasserman looked so sexy, but because the event was so exciting, because it was nonstop, high energy. I'm telling you, I've been to multiple UFC events. It was far better, Raine. When they go to California, you must go. You have to.
Temecula is just like an hour away from me. It's wine country here in where Raine, I live.
You have to go. Wear your Fight in Sight tank top. We will get you media passes. I will email the same person as last time. You got to get there. It's such a show. And to anybody watching and listening, like if you have the chance to go to BKFC show, you go to it. Like do not stop. Do not pause. Go. Book it and go. Like it's crazy.
And I'm excited because it's going to be in California. So I'm going to see people that I work with at Up Next Fighting. If I'm not mistaken, I think Chris Lieben was one of the refs at Mania 4, right? Yeah.
He's
so proud of him.
Yeah, Chris Lieben is the first guy to ever fight and referee for BKFC. So that's pretty cool. That's awesome. Guys, thank you so much for watching the podcast. If this is your first time here because of David Feldman, obviously, thank you so much. This is episode 171, something like that. But you've got a whole bunch of other episodes you can catch up on. Like I said, we've interviewed so many BKFC fighters, right? And they're always the nicest people. They're always such good people. So thank you for doing that. Go to Fight Insight Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, whatever, everything, right? Just follow along. Raine, in terms of a Friends of the Podcast update, I do want to say, what do I have to say? Friends of the Podcast.
Oh, congratulations to Charles. I forgot his last name.
Johnson, the Skullet Gang, Energy. Charles Johnson gets a win. So happy for that, dude. So congratulations.
And to his hometown of St. Louis, Missouri.
First time ever.
Hometown hero. Let's go.
Not only that, he has a massive crowd reaction. You're not stuck in the stupid apex, right, with 3 people clapping. He had that whole crowd. Like, what a great moment for him. So happy for him. I saw, I think on his Instagram, like his wife and kid were there and stuff like that. It's just beautiful. Yeah. These guys are such good people. Congratulations. Friends of the podcast, RageWorks Podcast Network. Obviously, if you like this podcast, go check out other great audio podcasts at rageworksnetwork.com. Next week on the podcast, we don't know where we're putting this podcast. We think we're doing it this week, right? Yeah, obviously. Yeah, okay, we're doing it this week. So next week on the podcast, I think, or at least very soon, is going to Basil Hafez.
Habibi.
The Habibi. He's coming back. He's fighting on June 1st, I believe it is. So he's going to be on the podcast. He's returning. He's a great, great dude. Can't wait to talk to him. And we've got other great fighters lined up. I've got a very famous BKFC fighter that just said she's coming on, Taylor Killer B Starling. So she is a huge, huge star range. She's coming on. She just messaged me, said, let's do it. So I'm very happy about that. And then, of course, you're going to see me very soon, June 8th, Raine. I am working on my notes. Fight League Atlantic. I said it a few times. I said it while David Feldman was here so that, in case the media picks it up, they'll go, what? Who's Fight League Atlantic? And then they'll go check it out. June 8th, Fight League Atlantic FLA 15 is going to be in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. It is going to be an incredible show. Main event is going to be former UFC fighter Chris the Greek Assassin Kalidas. He's fighting his retirement fight against Rhino Rhines. That's going to be a crazy fight. That's kicking it up. That's the main event. And there's going to be tons of great fights. They're already there. Go check out at Fight League Atlantic to go see all the fights that have been announced so far, and more keep getting announced. Raine, I'm very excited about that show. It's going to be the first time my wife gets out there as well. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So very nice. Of course, beautiful Canada, East Coast Canada. If you have, American, I don't know, $20, you can probably fly to Canada, stay at a hotel, have great food, watch the show, and go home. How much is the American dollar worth now? It's a lot, right? Like, it's killing our dollar
compared to your guys' money. Yeah,
our Canadian monopoly money. Yeah. Come check it out. But seriously, and if you have any questions or anything like that, message me. I'll help you figure out how to get to Dartmouth and where to book hotels and stuff like that. Like, it's beautiful out there. Go check it out. So I want to see you guys at Fight League Atlantic 15 out on June 8th. So get out there. Raine, your next fighting is when?
July 6th. It's going to be UNF 19 at Commerce Casino in Los Angeles, California. Tickets are now available, so please go to upnextfighting.com, and I will see you guys up.
Yeah. Come to Nova Scotia, then go out to California, just tour the world, wherever Raine and Timmy B go.
Yeah.
Raine, here's something that is funny. We'll talk about a few things that hit the news. One thing that I didn't like was on the MMA Hour, Darren Till came on, UFC fighter, former UFC fighter, whatever. And he's talking about wanting to fight Mike Perry in BKFC. And he goes, but I don't want to fight him in BKFC because I don't want to do bare knuckle. And he kind of made the comment, he's like, it's where a lot of fighters go when they're finished their careers.
Wait,
no, stupid.
Bare knuckle.
Like go to bare knuckle after you're done, right?
Wait.
Look, dum-dum. That's because BKFC was new. So these great fighters that have grown up, they had to wait till their contract was over They couldn't, right? Like you can't just switch over because they're locked in contracts. One of the things I was going to ask David Feldman is, it seems like a lot of UFC fighters are fighting out their contract nowadays. They fight out their contract and then they re-sign. Before, the UFC would always relock them in before they finish that last fight to kind of like keep them in there. I wonder if David Feldman is happy about that, because there's a lot of people that might start making the move over. Like if they see that the money is there with BKFC, if BKFC gets a television deal, I bet you there's a lot of UFC fighters, a lot of like heavy striking guys that might go, no, man, I'm going to finish this contract with UFC. And then I'm going to leverage it and get over to BKFC and start putting some more star power in there. Like, it's very interesting what might happen.
Yeah. And, I mean, not just probably UFC fighters, but probably PFL fighters too,
Yeah, sure. Fine. Whatever. Yes. Well, there's going to be a lot of them when PFL goes bankrupt in a few months, right?
But look, it's basically, there's just more opportunities for fighters, right? And I think it's good for the sport. It's good for the sport. There's different organizations they can go to. It's not like if I don't make it to UFC, then that's it. I don't have anywhere else to go. No, there's other options. And it's not just like an option. It's like a really good option.
Yeah, a viable option that there's money there, there's viewers there, there's eyes there, like you can become a star, like you look at these BKFCs like Britton Hart, like like Mike Perry, who has reinvigorated his career after going to BKFC. He's shot up to where no one ever thought that Mike Perry could get to, but there he is now. So I mean, congrats to him. Raine, we talk all the time about wanting the Apex to close up shop.
I don't know. I actually don't mind it.
I know you don't like it, Raine, or I know you don't mind it, but I hate it. But who cares, Raine? I have been beating the drum forever. # no more Apex. And finally, Dana White says this after St. Louis. We've got to get out of the Apex and start doing more events in all these cities. Dana White is quoted as saying that. Raine, can it be true? Can we start to see more local events in cities, at the very least across America?
Look, we talked about this in an episode like months ago, right? And to me, I think it will be great. I mean, I didn't mind the Apex. However, for me, it will be nice to go to different cities. Where, and for example, for Charles Johnson, right?
Yeah.
He went to St. Louis. That's his hometown. It's like, God, you got this hometown kid, hometown hero, and he ended up winning. That's like a big, pop in the crowd. And also for me, it gives a chance to local fighters who probably felt like, okay, I'm never going to get a shot to, be on a UFC card, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like if UFC starts going to different cities, there might be that opportunity where, and hey, even if I just make it to the prelims, man, as long as I get to fight in my hometown, home city for UFC, why not? Sign me up.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, is that maybe you would have got, a prelim fight in the Apex. But guess what? My family and friends aren't all busting out to Vegas to go to the Apex. But if it's in a hometown, if it's in a city close by, people can make the trip. It just makes everything so much more engaged. And then the thing is, like we're talking about the TV bringing more eyes. Well, if there's an event on in your city and the tickets aren't ridiculous price, more people might go. You know what I mean? More people might go, and then they become fans. My wife would never go to a BKFC event, but we get the ticket, we go, now she's a fan. Now she watches constantly, right? Like it just gets that engagement going with fans. So # no more Apex. Dana White has said he's thinking about it. I mean, that's at least the first step, Raine. Like once that nugget has gone into his brain, now we just see where that goes, right? But it plants in his brain. It takes root slowly, man. I mean, come on, go make some money. They already said that UFC 302 or whatever the one is with Conor McGregor. Did you hear how much they're making in ticket sales?
Really, how much?
$20 million. Is it 20 million? 30 million? Whatever the frig it is. Some ridiculous gargantuan amount.
Some amount that I don't have. Wow.
No. Not yet. But yeah, like, crazy money they're making. with these events. And now, mind you, they're gouging you on tickets. But when you go to St. Louis, when you go for like normal fight nights and stuff like that, the ticket prices can't be that crazy. But look at what it gets you, right? The fans, the energy, everything. I swear the fights are better when they're not in the Apex. I swear.
Honestly, for me, I've always wanted to check out fight nights at the Apex. It's just that for me, it's going to, just thinking about, okay, now I would have to travel to Las Vegas.
It's $2,000 a ticket.
It's a lot. So
you're not paying. Are you paying $2,000 a ticket?
No, but I've always wanted to go, but I still like a lot of money, not just for the ticket alone, but like to make it to Las Vegas. Cause I'm not just going to go to the Apex and then turn around and drive back home. Takes like 4 hours for me to get to Las Vegas. If I'm driving.
Yes. But there's other things too, right? Like, if it is in other cities that you haven't normally gone to or you've never visited, that's an opportunity for you to check out the city as well.
True.
Right? So if you fly to St. Louis, now you can check out St. Louis. That's why you're coming out to Nova Scotia. That's why I've enjoyed doing my stuff with Fight League Atlantic. Go all over the East Coast and seeing all these cities that I would have never seen before.
True.
So, here's something I think we've talked about this idea before in the past on the podcast, but here's something that's funny between two UFC fighters. This is Michel Pereira, the guy that does the somersaults.
Mm-hmm.
He's quoted as saying, "I didn't agree to this fight with Roman Dolidze. He trains with me every day at the Performance Institute at Extreme Couture. He agreed to it, but I haven't. To me, it's not the moment to fight him. If he agreed to it, that's his problem. I was surprised he agreed to it, really. To me, in my head, he's a training partner, a friend. I see I'm not." So, Raine, apparently these two guys that train together, they're now going to fight. The one guy signs the contract. The other guy is kind of oblivious to it. From what I see on Wikipedia, these guys are now scheduled to fight in July.
Oh, okay.
Raine, this is not for the title. This is not a contender series fight to make it into the UFC. This is just a regular fight, possibly on the prelims. Do you fight your friend?
Let's see. If my friend is down to do it, why not?
You're going to try to kill your friend.
Well, no, it's a sport. I wouldn't mind.
Your goal is to kill him. Your goal is to throw a head kick to his dome or her dome and knock her out. Could cause life-ending injuries, could cause lifelong injuries. That is the sport we're talking about. Sport.
True. I don't know. I guess like for me, it's like, number one, how good is this friend to me though?
Trains with him every day at the Performance Institute.
I know, but what I'm saying is like for me personally, if I'm supposed to like fight my friend, it's like okay, is this some friend that I'm okay
killing?
Basically, yeah, killing. Or like, for example, some people are like sore losers, right? They're cool with fighting you as their friend, but if they lose, then they tend to be like, you know what? I'm a sore loser, so I'm not going to be your friend anymore, right? And there are some friends who are like, all right, cool, I lost to my friend. It's okay. So it depends. But I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind fighting my friend. Why not?
Raine, you're a horrible person.
What?
But what is funny though is that I started to message some people, or like I think I put it in our Instagram, like one of the like a question or something like that. Some people reached back out, and almost all of them said they would. I had strangers messaging, but some friends of the podcast, people who actually fight, Raine. Like I'm talking, like UNF fighters. I had jiu-jitsu people, or no, they're MMA fighters too, that fight for Dan Henderson fight night. Then I had some boxing guys. They all said, yes, for enough money, I would do it, no problem. And I would clarify, I was like, not for a title, like just a normal fight. You could fight any freaking other guy. Like, yeah, it's fine. I don't know. Obviously, Michel Pereira, by the way that he responds to this, seems like he's not that cool with it. And I think when he says like now's not the time, or like I don't think now's the time, meaning like, hey, if we're way up in the rankings, even if it's like a number
option is to fight your friend,
right? Or it's like a number one contender spot fight or something like that really means something, and there's nobody else to fight. okay, I guess we do it. But boy, oh boy, like it's very interesting. Some of the comments I got were, hey, we spar every day, so I might as well get paid for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming you wouldn't, because
me?
Yeah.
No, zero would I do it, Raine. You know what happened recently? Up Next Fighting called me and asked if I could ring announce for them. And I said, no. I said, no. How dare you even ask? No. Ringside Raine is my friend. I would never do it. No, Raine, I would. And that's actually, in all honesty, when I began this podcast, a little behind the scenes here, and it's so funny, the podcast was called Two Friends Fighting. It was two guys from my gym. They were doing a podcast. Before I started this podcast, I called them to ask permission. It was okay that I do it. I wouldn't have even started a stupid free podcast if those guys said, you know what, it's kind of our thing right now. Please don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have done it. I just feel like, like there's so many goals that we're all striving for, that like we're trying to find success in life and stuff like that. I wouldn't want to succeed over the backs of a friend. Not if I didn't have to.
Okay. I see where you're coming from.
I don't know. But Raine, I mean, geez Louise.
Well, to me, the way I see it, it's like, hey, it's a sport. If my friend is down to compete against me, why not?
Because it's not tennis. It's not. I also have a question. If you ever saw a man playing pickleball, is that like the most unattractive thing in the world?
Not really. I don't care.
Oh my God. Raine, the answer is yes. That's terrible.
Why?
Pickleball?
Having fun, why not?
No, it's not a sport. It's
Great
ridiculous. For him. That's another podcast. This just in, Raine, next week's podcast with Basil Habibi Hafez. We will also have FLA 15 Fight League Atlantic superstar Sam Reno. He's a young kid. I really like this guy. I've seen him compete before. He is a killer. He's out of Nova Scotia himself, so he's fighting, I think, in his hometown, maybe. Okay. But great kid. He will be on the podcast next week. This just in. I just got the message. So
nice.
Very excited. I mean, these people, Raine, salt of the earth. Like East Coast people, very good people. Not like the West Coast. West Coast people are terrible.
Yeah, I'm in the West Coast, so.
All right, what else here's something. Speaking about fighting friends, here's a video. This is 14 seconds long, so bear with me. And if you're on audio, it's a video from ONE FC. It was a couple weeks ago. They announced the next female atomweight title fight between Stamp Fairtex, my favorite female fighter of all time, versus Denise Zamboanga, a former guest of the podcast, Filipino. Raine, do you know her?
No.
Oh, okay.
She's not my friend, so I'm going to fight her.
Denise Zamboanga, friend of the podcast, amazing fighter herself. They're scheduled to fight for the title. Very exciting fight. But watch the standoff here between the two of them. Here we go. Oh, let me turn off. Well, you know what? I'm going to turn off this banner in case that screws things up. All right, here we go. Here's the Stamp and Denise.
I can't wait for this one. It is Stamp versus Denise Zamboanga. What a matchup this is going to be. Tickets are on.
Raine, can you explain to the audio listeners what we just saw?
I saw two fighters who are smiling at each other, being friendly to each other, and then towards the end, they did the little heart thingy with the hand. So I thought that was cute.
Arms over each other's shoulders, making the little heartsy sign. At the beginning, it looks like Denise goes to kiss her on the lips. Not gonna lie, that's pretty sexy. I mean, if you're gonna do that, Raine, thoughts on that?
No, to me, I actually enjoyed watching that because for me, there's always that side where some fighters, they feel like the approach should always be like, you know what, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to be aggressive towards you. Here's my fight stance. Here's my mean look, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But, when you see something like that, two fighters they're supposed to fight each other down the line, kill each other. And they're just friendly towards each other. I really respect that, because to me, it's like respecting your competition, being friendly towards your competition. At the end of the day, they both worked hard to be there, to earn that spot. So I love that. I love that interaction between the two of them.
People will think we planned this.
Why, I didn't like it or what?
Every single topic we talk about, Raine, I love it because we are always on the opposite side.
What's wrong with that? They were like,
Raine, what's wrong with that? I don't want these two stupid people to be all friendly and hugging and kissing. I don't mind the kissing, but I don't want the stupid friendly crap between the two. Stamp is like a murderer. She freaking like destroys girls badly, right? I don't need them being friendly. I don't need in my brain. Already I worry that ONE FC rigs their fights like freaking wild. I don't need any part of my brain thinking that these two girls are not going to go after each other 110%. I don't like it. I don't think it sells the fight well. Like these two girls, already ONE FC is not super well known. I don't care that Chatri says like every single Thai person or Filipino person watches it. That doesn't count. Like, for this sport to grow, they need to create some drama, need to create excitement. And I don't know how you sell that. Like, I know it's lovely and I know it's respect, but there's a difference between being respectful martial artists and being like overly loving and buddy. And I do think they are actually friends. Like, I think that is the case. Okay. So that's why it plays well here on our thing. But yeah, I don't know.
I love it. And honestly, for me now, I want to see the fight, because it's like, oh my God, this is not the usual two fighters staring at each other, being mean towards each other. Now it's like, oh my God, they're friends. And now I want to see them fight. I'm a horrible person.
You're such a weirdo. I don't know, like just such a weirdo.
I know, but remember with what Mark Bowden told us last week. He said there is something to say about a fighter or fighters, like what we just saw, who can just instantly switch from being friendly to fight mode. So there is something to say about that.
Yeah, I guess. And look, if you can turn on that killer instinct. I mean, but here's the thing, Raine, like in training at the very low level that I do, and, watching my friends fight here in Toronto that are just competing in the local circuit kind of thing, right? Muay Thai or whatever, boxing, Muay Thai. There are those people that cannot turn on the kill switch. There are people that cannot turn on that bloodlust. They are too friendly. They are too chummy. And even when they were competing at the amateur level, it looked like they weren't going for the kill, and it would hinder their success. Like those people would not win, or they would have very not great records because of that. If you're too friendly with the person, I worry that prevents you from turning on that kill switch. Now, these are professionals, of course. This is their livelihood, blah, blah, blah. But
I do
human nature. I just wouldn't be able to kill my friend. I don't feel like I could do it. And I worry that other people, even subconsciously, 1%, if you hold back that one little bit, I don't know. The only thing that will redeem this is if Stamp I love Denise too, because she was on the show. But the only thing that will redeem it is if one of the two of them totally obliterates the other one. Then I'll be like, okay, good. But if there's any, if in any way this fight doesn't go like a massacre or a murder, I'm gonna feel like there a fix was in. No,
I don't know. I don't think so. I honestly think now I just want to see the fight, because that interaction between the two of them just sold it to me. It's it's not like the usual, it's something that's out of the ordinary, right? Kind of like when Mark Bowden make the reference about Sean O'Malley with the pink hair, pink suit, whatever. It's something that's would you either follow that pink hair guy or be against that pink hair guy? So to me, seeing that, friendly interactions, really friendly interaction between the two of them, it's something out of the ordinary. So now there's these two people, you and I, which, for you, you're nah, I don't know. this is not really selling the fight for me. And now I'm like, oh my God, I got to watch this fight. Two friends fighting each other. Sign me up.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. It's interesting. We will see what happens. I know we've got other topics that we're going to talk about. I know you're writing it in the chat here. You're talking about are you talking about the ring announcer that says the totally wrong thing?
Yeah. Like the video that you sent me.
Oh, yes. I sent it to you. Okay. We're going to talk about that with future guest Joe Martinez. We'll talk about it with him, but that might not be now. Wait, you're saying that might not be for a couple weeks, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's do it very quickly then. Like at least maybe get a little quick thought on it. So now because you're saying this, I don't have it lined up here. I don't have it ready to go. But you're talking about it was a title fight. It was a boxing title fight with the Sugar Neeks, who is a very good-looking lady. Do you know her? Do you know who the girl is? Oh,
no, I saw parts of the boxing match.
No, who cares about the boxing match? Have you ever seen her Instagram?
No.
No? She's Australian, right? I think she's Australian girl.
Okay.
Sugar _Neeks, Neekz. Sugar Neeks Johnson. Anyways, so she fights this girl. It's for a title. And we just lost all our viewers because they went to go look at Sugar Neeks now, and now they're not coming back. So they box. The announcer gets him in. The ref's holding. He calls out the scorecards. Winner, Susie, whatever the hell the other girl's name is. Sugar Neeks does not win. Blah, 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 blah. The commentators start talking. Then all of a sudden, the ref grabs the two girls' hands again, brings them back to the thing. The ring announcer, almost as if it never happened, goes, the scores are blah, 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 blah. Sugar Neeks. And totally reverses the decision. The weirdest freaking thing I've ever seen. Raine, would you just, I mean, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, so I don't want to say this, but would you just kill yourself if you did that as the ring announcer?
I mean, mistakes
Your career is over.
I mean, no. I mean, for me, it's like, hey, we're all humans. Mistakes happen. I mean, hey, I think 2 weeks ago at one of the UFC events, I mean, Bruce announced the wrong winner. And then like the guy looks at him and he's like, oh yeah, wait, this is your name. So it's like, it does.
Wait, what?
Yeah. At, God, I think it was at UFC 301, I believe. It was like 2 UFC pay-per-views ago.
He said the wrong guy's name.
The wrong guy's name when he was announcing the winner. But like, I think the winner was like via submission or TKO. I can't remember. I have to look it up.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. So, okay. But I mean, we all know who won because the guy got submitted.
I believe so. I might be wrong. But all I'm saying is that stuff like this happen, right? And the thing about us ring announcers is that when we say something wrong, the problem is we have a hot mic. So everyone will hear that we said something wrong. So for me, it does happen, unfortunately. Kind of like what Chris Lieben told us before, if you've been doing this for a long time, or even if you just started doing this, right, there will be accidents at some point. And unfortunately, this one happened to, I don't even know the name of this ring announcer.
No, I don't know who did it either. I don't know the name of the guy that made the mistake.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But it's like sometimes for me personally, you got people telling you in your ear, like, okay, like, where's Raine? Okay, like, we gotta, like, like they normally wait for you anyway, but it's like you want to get the what right away so that we can get back in the cage, get back in the ring, and then tell everyone.
But here's the thing, though. You're not memorizing it. They give you the scorecards. Like you have a physical written document right in front of you that you're reading.
True. However, I don't know if this guy copied this stuff from the scorecard, right? Because some people do that. Some people just take the actual scorecard. Well, I mean, same thing with Steve Harvey when he announced the
wrong
winner,
Miss America or whatever.
Miss Universe, yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like,
I know.
So things like this happen, and I feel bad for the ring announcer because he's getting a lot of negative, comments on social
As
media.
he should, Raine, as he should.
I
This
don't
guy,
think so.
this guy,
I don't think
Doomsday.
so because if
This
you
guy
have
will first of all, Raine, I'm fighting for you. If this guy gets fired from every job possible, there's going to be a domino effect, and Ringside Raine it becomes somewhere. Like you're going to be doing something. So like I don't know.
And to me, I don't see it that way. To me, I see it as, you know what, we're all humans, and it's about bouncing back whenever you make a mistake. For him, I commend him for, he announced the wrong fight outcome. He announced the wrong result. However, the way he corrected himself, it's like you said, it's like nothing happened. And it's okay. Because for me, it's like sometimes people don't even pay attention to what's going on. And then the only thing that they would catch is like that part that you were actually announcing the correct winner.
You are so wrong. Everybody in that freaking arena knew what he said because but
if you're like watching it like, on TV and you happen to look away and then you look back and oh, that's the girl that won. Great. You didn't even know that something happened, right? But for me, it's like I said, I mean, even at WWE, like things like this happen. So it's not like,
which is incredible because, I mean, spoiler alert, the results are rigged or are pre-written in WWE. I mean, the announcer knew who was going to win that match 12 days prior. I mean, like, how can you mess that up? But
maybe things change, last minute.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's at the end of the day, one, for me, it's TV production. It's a live event production. It's a high pressure situation. Not everyone can handle that type of pressure. One, you got
exactly. So if you can't handle the pressure, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen, make way for Ringside Raine, because she's not going to screw it up like this dude.
Well, no, I'm just saying I'm human too. Like,
barely.
God knows, like when, I mean, people make mistakes, man. And to me,
I've heard that there's people that make mistakes. I've never made a mistake, but I've heard that it happens. I feel bad for those people, but Raine, that's crazy. We'll talk about it with Joe Martinez anyways, because I want to know if Joe's ever announced the wrong person.
Yeah. And to me, that's like my fear, man. Like I'm like literally paranoid about that. Announcing the wrong winner, announcing like the wrong score. And the sad part is that, things like that happen. And so for me, it's like the good thing though, is that learning how to bounce back from that, right? You announce the wrong person, you announce the wrong scorecard, whatever. Fine, you made the mistake. People on social media talk bad about you, which is unfortunate, right? How do you bounce back from that? So
you pick up a new career.
No.
You find a new career to do. You do a new job. You put it in the past. Change your name, maybe legally change your name so people don't even find you. Change your haircut, right? He's a guy, so just shave your head, grow a goatee, whatever. Life moves on. You might have to leave your wife and kids because they might be committed to, what they were doing. So you leave them, new job, new career. You just start fresh. That's my advice. That's the Timmy B advice, Fight advice. Right.
No, don't care. Be like Bilal. Don't care about anyone.
Yeah.
You.
Well, does Bilal have a fight yet? Have they announced anything? I don't think so. I think they're still holding off. They do not want to give that guy a title shot. Anyways, Raine, we are out of here. We did a good job. We had David Feldman, one of the greatest success stories, really, in modern day. Like, fastest growing combat sport in the world, or fastest growing sport ever, whatever that stipulation is, or whatever that thing is. Super successful, man. And what a nice frigging guy. I didn't know that he was married, and I'm so happy that he says his marriage is flourishing as a result of this. I mean, here's the deal. When you start making kabillions of dollars, I'm pretty sure your marriage flourishes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, especially, I think his wife was with him throughout this whole thing.
The whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, you know,
Like
now
my wife is still waiting for this podcast to make money. You know what I mean? But when
my
it
husband
does,
is still waiting for, you know, me to like have a full-time ring announcing contract.
yeah. Whenever I tell her I'm going to quit my day job and just focus on the podcast, she threatens to kill me. So that's not good. But all right, we are all done for today. We've got a whole bunch of things coming up. Stick with the podcast.
Mhm.
Stick with us. Follow, subscribe, do all that stuff. Raine, thank you so much. We're back next week with Basil Hafez and Sam
Yeah,
Reno.
baby.
Then in a few weeks, we've got Joe
Martinez and
Martinez.
Jose Rubio.
Yes, and Jose Rubio is from Fight Night Customs.
Yep.
Yeah, very interesting story with that dude. So we're going to get that going. And then we've got, like I said, other fighters lined up, BKFC fighters, UFC fighters. We got a whole gamut of stuff to come up. Raine, thank you so much. What a great episode.
Yeah, thank you as well. David, thank you so much for your time, for joining us here on Fight Inside Podcast.
I don't like that he didn't take off his shirt and show his Fight in Sight shirt, but that's okay.
I thought he was going to. And then I think it was his internet. I think it just got cut off.
Maybe. His data was up. All right. See you later, guys. Have a good one. Bye.
Attention all Starfleet personnel. New York's only fan-run Star Trek convention, Trek Long Island, is back this summer. Get ready for 3 days of sci-fi fun celebrating your favorite franchise in the Empire State. Meet the stars from Trek shows spanning different eras, including Melissa Navia and Yetidi Badaki from Strange New Worlds, Gabrielle Ruiz from Lower Decks, Armin Shimmerman, Chase Masterson, J.G. Hertzler, and Kitty Swink from DS9, Ethan Phillips from Voyager, Janet Kidder, Tara Rosling, Conrad Coates, and Elias Tefexis from Discovery, and many more, including celebrities who haven't been at a Star Trek convention in years, like Clyde Kasatsu, Natalia Nogalich, and Daphne Ashbrook. Come meet your fellow fans. Take in a panel with your favorite podcasters. Enjoy Dinner with the Stars, featuring live musical performances. Meet authors, artists, and musicians, and so many more during this epic 3-day event brought to you by the talented and inclusive community that makes Star Trek go at warp speed. Trek Long Island takes place from May 31st to June 2nd at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Hauppauge, New York. Visit treklongisland.com for tickets, exclusive packages, and more information. Trek Long Island, going kindly this summer.